the question of ethics is a great question, because this is one of the areas that I didn't realize about CIA. And I didn't realize how important it was, like I said, that they're very good at recruiting. One of the reasons that CIA is so good at recruiting is specifically tied to this question of ethics and morality. So first, it's important to understand that you asked about ethics. Ethics has a definition. Ethics are defined by a group outside of you. So the Navy defines your ethics. If you're an attorney, some board of attorneys decides your ethics. If you're a doctor, some board of medicine determines your ethics. It's a rule, an ethical code assigned to you that you must meet. Morals are a code that you create for yourself. CIA has a code of ethics, but their code of ethics is specific to CIA. It has to do with not violating your promises to CIA, national security of the United States, that sort of thing. It's a very specific code, but it's not a hard code to meet, especially not if you're like a gung-ho CIA officer. Where I ran into problems in the field wasn't with ethics, it was with morals, because there were certain things that I thought I would never do. There were things I thought would never be acceptable. But then in the course of a CIA mission, when you know that you're taking out bad guys and protecting innocent people, it's shocking how often your morals are wrong. Like, your morals are not built, they're not conditioned in you as a kid for the situations that you see in real life, right?
What was the most consummate textbook example of that for you?
So I had a case where the thing that the person wanted was an illegal currency, if you will, an illegal material in the United States. So you can't even get your hands on it in the United States. If you touch it in the United States, FBI is breaking down your door, like the world's coming to an end.
Can you say what it is?
I can't say what it is, but classify it in that space of like all the rumors that you hear about, drugs and child pornography and, whatever else, weapons. That's the kind of shit that you and I know that if we touch it, we're going to jail forever.
I got you.
That was the only currency this person would accept to trade secrets against their state, right? So I'm sitting here with this case, and I'm like, well, I don't know how we're going to get our hands on that, right? Because that's, first of all, I feel sick talking to you. Like, you're fucked up. You're going to be a traitor against your country, but only in exchange for this substance.
Horrible shit.
Right?
Yeah. I think we can figure out what that is, maybe.
And you have the fucking wasta, the balls, to look me in the eye and be like, you know what I really need? I need this thing. What the fuck? Who do you think I am to even have this conversation with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I take it back to my supervisor, my field supervisor, and I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do with this case. He wants this. And my supervisor's like, well, get it for him. I'm like, what?
I don't even know where to get that.
Yeah. He's like, you put it in a cable, you send it to headquarters, you tell them that's what you need. And that's like,
wow.
First tour officer stuff. I send it back. I get a letter back with instructions on how and where it's going to be pouched or sent to me. I go and I find it. No shit, it's right there. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Okay. So now I go back to the meeting and I'm like, I got your stuff. If you can give me the secrets and I can vet the secrets as true, I can give you the stuff. And that's how it worked. And that was like my first interaction. First of all, my first time ever touching such a disgusting thing, right? And then paying somebody off with it. And then that turned into the regular payment method, and the case just continued. And I didn't have a problem with it, right? And that's when I really learned, like, oh, all of my disgust was really contextual to living in American life in the United States. But now that I'm operating in fucking Africa for this case, I'm like, I'm in Africa serving this fucking warlord his shit. And I'm like, I don't really mind, because that fucking, I mean, I've got to get my secrets from this guy before the other warlords blow his ass up.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is facilitating shit he's going to do anyways, but now we're getting some benefit for the American public out of it. Mm-hmm. And that was really the mantra. So what I learned is that CIA specifically hires us because we're morally flexible.
Yeah.
We think that there's something we wouldn't do, but when push comes to shove, we're going to fucking do it, and we're not going to lose sleep over it. And I this is one of the things that I learned to really appreciate about myself, but even more so about our FBI counterparts. Because, like, I've seen dead bodies, and that shit fucks me up. I have seen people injured in disgusting ways, and that haunts my dreams. They're like, the shit that you did, the shit that FBI officers do, the shit that tactical police do, they can sleep at night. They're wired to be able to compartmentalize, distance themselves, and accept that they're seeing stuff in real life that's worse than what we see in horror movies. I can't do that. So I realize now more than ever, like CIA's recruitment process brought me in to do dirty shit that I can sleep at night just fine. Other people do other dirty shit and they can sleep at night just fine. But the people we serve...
It's pairing you up with the dirty shit that you're able to do and then asking you to execute it.
Right. And think about how many Americans could never do it.
Yeah. Most, I think. Yeah. In that specific instance, was the juice worth the squeeze? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
For me, it was because we had our eyes on the right prize.
Yeah.
There were other places where our eyes got distracted. The bad part about being part of CIA is that your intelligence requirements are dictated by policymakers. Your policymakers are elected into office by, unfortunately, ignorant partisan Americans. So then the shit rolls downhill. So, ignorance wins the election. Policymakers make ignorant decisions. Those ignorant decisions become stupid requirements that aren't worth human lives, but then that's what we have to execute on. Yeah. So that happens all the time. But thankfully, in that first instance, I wasn't immediately disenfranchised with CIA because I was like, oh, you know what? Like, we're making a real difference. You can't make a difference in Africa, let's be honest. Africa's a fucking shithole. It's where money and good ideas go to disappear. But we have to keep trying, because as soon as we stop trying, China's not going to stop trying. Russia's not going to stop trying. They own Africa. So if we're not fighting in that space, like, the bad guys are going to win.